Hello, I'm Lucy Jiang, and today I'll be presenting our Chi paper titled, It's Kind of Context Dependent, Understanding Blind and Low Vision People's Video Accessibility Preferences Across Viewing Scenarios. This work was conducted with Crescentia Jung, Mahika Phutane, Abigale Stangl, and Shiri Azenkot. So how do you make videos accessible? Well, that might depend. Audio description, also known as AD, is a separate audio track with narration of visual elements. While AD is a standard approach for making videos accessible to blind and low vision people, these guidelines and practices were developed decades ago. The kinds of audio descriptions you hear today don't necessarily translate across diverse videos, such as a music video, a science fiction movie, or a TikTok or Instagram reel. Prior work has explored how to improve image and video accessibility. For example, Morris et al. And Gleason et al. Examined how richer modes of feedback could improve image and social media content accessibility. One such example was through including short sounds to indicate the repetition of a meme format on Twitter. Researchers have also specifically investigated using different modalities, besides just narration, to make videos accessible. Stangl et al. Found that visual enhancements such as contrast adaptation, color manipulation, and sharpness adjustments could improve video accessibility for BLV users. Additionally, in our prior work, we identified how sound design and haptics could also improve video immersion and engagement for blind and low vision viewers. Few have started considering how different types of content may impact accessibility preferences. For example, Stangl et al. Explored how image description preferences might vary based on an image's context, finding that BLV people wanted different details for images associated with different sources and user goals. Additionally, Wang et al. Found that BLV users preferred different details for a set of different video types, like having more detailed descriptions of people in a comedy, but not in a DIY video. However, most work in this area does not consider short-form video content or additional modes of output. Additionally, a vast majority of prior research has focused on creating universally satisfactory descriptions, but video accessibility is not one-size-fits-all. This emphasizes the need to better understand how users' unique video watching scenarios can influence their needs and preferences. In our paper, we explore how different video types, viewing platforms, and viewing goals can impact blind and low vision people's video accessibility preferences. We also explored auditory and tactile output and defined a six-dimensional video accessibility design space to guide future work. Before beginning our interview study, we conducted a formative survey with 101 participants to gain a preliminary understanding of BLV people's video watching behaviors. This helped inform our interview protocol. Through our survey, we found that popular video types included informational or educational, comedic, how-to or DIY, lifestyle, and news and commentary. Participants commonly used YouTube, Netflix, and Facebook, and 90.6% of respondents used mobile phones to watch videos. Participants also had varied preferences for when and why they watched videos with AD. For example, one respondent explained their reasoning for only using AD for movies, but not for, quote, concerts because I don't like the audio description talking in the middle of a song, or for stand-up comedy because it is hard to hear the comedian talking during the audio description track. To delve deeper into BLV people's preferences for video accessibility across viewing scenarios, we then conducted semi-structured interviews with a subset of our survey respondents. We invited 15 BLV survey respondents to participate, who had varying experiences with AD and media creation. One was a hobbyist blind film critic, while another was an extended reality sound and media artist. During the interviews, we reviewed participants' survey responses and asked them to recall one or more specific videos they had watched in the last few weeks. For each video discussed, we determined the participants' viewing scenario and asked them about positive and negative aspects of their experience. Then, as part of a co-watching activity, we presented participants with multiple videos to encourage them to compare and contrast their preferences across diverse scenarios. Some examples of our presented scenarios include a documentary on Netflix, a comedy sketch on YouTube, and a short-form video on Instagram. You can find more about our method and the scenarios presented in our paper. We found that BLV user needs and preferences for video accessibility varied across different scenarios, anchored by their video types. Here, we highlight a subset of scenarios. The kinds of how-to videos that participants watched ranged from cooking tutorials to workout videos. Across these different domains, participants generally wished to know details about actions and equipment to help with learning how to do something. They valued having step-by-step spoken directions for replicating a recipe, wanted to know precisely which pots, pans, and tools to use, and required details about specific locations if pertinent. For example, one participant wished to know which corners they needed to nail when assembling a piece of furniture. Audio and tactile cues could also improve how-to video accessibility, as hearing the sound of an electric mixer in a baking video could help determine if a task necessitated electric tools. 4 participants mentioned that a separate resource with additional information would be helpful as well. For exercise videos in particular, Carla mentioned that, quote, having a link that you can click or a list of different workout stuff that they're going to do gives you some time to prep, and this would allow her to follow along more easily. For informational and educational videos, participants wanted to know more about visual aids, settings, and subjects to aid with their goals of learning something new. Tactile feedback was especially helpful for learning with regards to conceptualizing abstract information and understanding scale or structure. Some participants preferred tactile graphics, while others preferred 3D models. Alice, a student, mentioned that tactile elements were invaluable for learning. Quote, it would be cool to have it be more tactile because that's how you learn. Describing part of a cell is not as good as seeing a picture or feeling it more hands-on. In contrast, when watching short-form videos on Instagram or Facebook to engage with friends, participants placed more emphasis on subjects, actions, clothing, and settings. For TikToks and Reels, participants found that popular sounds could give much-needed context. For example, slower piano beats suggested that a video would be sad or serious, and commonly used sounds like the, quote, oh no song provided context about something unfortunate happening. Participants also commonly use the video caption to understand a video's context. Carla gave an example, quote, if the caption is, quote, when girls' night goes terribly wrong, unquote, you can assume that they were relaxing and then something happened. For music videos, participants mentioned that song lyrics could evoke some imagery, but they wished to have more details about people, actions, and clothing. For example, one participant mentioned how the song lyrics in Taylor Swift's song, You Belong With Me, suggested that the video could contain certain characters, such as a cheerleader. Braille readers were also interested in using refreshable Braille displays to read AD in tandem to hearing the music to better understand the context without disrupting the music itself. Lastly, when watching science fiction, fantasy, and animation videos, participants wished to know details about characters, actions, clothing, facial expressions, and settings. Separate resources could provide additional detail about characters and clothing, such as, quote, what a stormtrooper wears. Participants' desired output modalities included 3D models for conceptualizing fantastical, unique character designs. For example, Emily mentioned that having access to a mermaid doll helped her conceptualize what Ariel from The Little Mermaid looked like. Additionally, Felix, who lost a majority of his sight in his 30s, noted, quote, as somebody who could see WALL-E and now cannot, I can tell you that the audio description just doesn't have it. I know we can't roll a WALL-E into people's homes, but I almost wish we could. We also identified some similarities across scenarios. Participants consistently wanted access to text on screen. Some also suggested adapting a video's visual style to enhance accessibility. Participants with residual vision found competing colors, flashes, and fast action to be detrimental when watching videos. Isaac preferred, quote, flat and simple animation styles in shows such as The Simpsons and advocated for changing the stylistic appearance of a video to better suit his abilities. Based on our findings, we present 6 dimensions in the video accessibility design space: level of detail, alteration of video time, level of augmentation, modality of presentation, synchronicity of accessible content, and tone and style of approach. For modality of presentation, we propose that additional audio elements can improve video accessibility. Similar to how Netflix's title card includes a recognizable sound effect, different platforms may adopt a set of distinctive earcons to efficiently indicate common information. For example, content creators may wish to designate a specific earcon for encouraging viewers to subscribe or follow their content. Tactile feedback was also desired, but participants acknowledged that this relied heavily on having the requisite technology and Braille literacy or tactile graphicacy. Participants were also interested in alternative tonal and stylistic approaches, such as excited, sad, first-person, or cartoonish. One participant wished to have subjective and somewhat judgmental descriptions for reality television, and others wished to have descriptions that match the tone of the piece overall. Aside from spoken descriptions, other output modalities could also take different tones and styles. For example, tactile graphics and 3D models could present users with a more cartoonish representation of a video's visuals to abstract away unnecessary details. We encourage you to read our paper for a discussion of the other 4 dimensions of the video accessibility design space. We also consider the efficacy and ethical implications of using generative AI to support video accessibility for a subset of dimensions in our design space. Recent advances in AI models have led to excitement about potential uses of AI for video accessibility. However, we also recognize that there can be significant ethical harms associated with AI-generated and personalized video accessibility. The risks of misinformation and echo chambers can be heightened with generative AI. Long-term, how would partisan audio description and video accessibility influence people's views, political or otherwise? Our work points to future research directions investigating the intersections between media accessibility, artificial intelligence, and misinformation. We would like to thank our participants for their valuable insights. This work was supported in part by Meta. Thank you for your time, and please read our paper and reach out if you have any questions. My email is lucja@cs.cornell.edu. Thank you.